Hi, I'm Miguel Delaney, Chief Football Writer at The Independent. We've now seen every single team at this World Cup, so we've got a bit of a sense of where things lie, but also a lot of questions, particularly from you, the viewers. So let's take a look at what you've asked. So first of all, Andrew gets to the heart of the matter. Argentina lose, Germany lose, Croatia look old and tired. It's coming home. Certainly, I think there's a better chance it's coming home than at any recent tournament bar Euro 2020, which for me, England still should have won. They wasted an opportunity there, given they were ahead in the final. But while there have been concerns that the team might go stale after that, especially after the bad results of the last year, or that was kind of the end of a cycle, they've started this World Cup superbly. We were in the England camp yesterday. John Stones was talking about how they immediately felt they clicked on playing Iran. They're one of the teams that have started in good form. In fact, from the opening games, I would say only Brazil and Spain trumped them. Now, Brazil could be the real danger there because they do look the strongest team in the competition at the moment. But of course, they've now got the significant complication of Neymar's injury. So as to the question whether it's coming home, it's got a pretty good chance. Like Zoink Scoob wonders if Gavi is this World Cup's wonder boy. Well, I mean, this is a kid who's 18. He's absolutely, I mean, and he just doesn't play like any 18-year-old I've ever seen. It's not just that ability, it's the maturity, the way he used it. I mean, he didn't just run the game against Costa Rica. He opened it up, elevated it. The touch for that first goal that Spain scored and set them on their way was incredible. He, of course, scored himself to be the youngest scorer in a World Cup after Pele. I mean, which is a fact that says as much in itself. And he was just absolutely remarkable. I mean, again, people can put it into the context that it was only Costa Rica, but this is a kid that's been brilliant for Barcelona, brilliant for Spain at some time. And of course, with Pedri beside him, we're talking about the new Xavi Iniesta, but even younger. He asks, this England midfield is the best of the World Cup, isn't it? Well, having just lauded Spain's midfield, I would say no, I have to say. But I think it is an evolution for England. They may be in terms of kind of what you want your midfield dynamic to be. They probably still miss an actual Pedri or classically what everyone would say Pirlo style pass, or someone that controls games. But it's got more to it than it used to. I think playing Calvin Phillips is obviously a very good servant for England. And is a really good option to have. Having him and Declan Rice together just makes him a little bit one-dimensional in midfield. Whereas you've got Rice, who can cover so much ground and brilliant scanning the area in front of defence, and then Bellingham in front of him, and Bellingham links midfield to attack so well. It is the strongest it's been for years. Andrew asks, why on earth temporary concussion subs aren't allowed? Football is so far behind other sports. Yeah, again, myself and the rest of the team here were at the England-Iran game. I really couldn't believe that the Iranian goalkeeper wasn't taken off straight away. And it was quite a disturbing sight then, about 15 minutes later, to see him just kind of lie down on his back, signal to go off, and when it was clear long beforehand that he should have done. And it's amazing. It feels like we've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years, since obviously people had much greater awareness of the kind of neuroscience behind all this. And it is amazing that it isn't something that's been brought in, and something that, of course, should be looked at. Lord Polycarp asks if this is the Brazil team that is meant to win the World Cup. Spain would beat them easily. I'm not sure about easily. I think Brazil have more overall quality than Spain, but like Spain, they've got gaps in their team. This first game actually skewed it a little bit, because normally with Spain, or with this Spain under Luis Enrique, and actually going back some time, as we saw from Euro 2020, that Spain can often struggle to open sides that play really deep against them. They have these kind of long, frustrating games, especially because they lack kind of a finisher at the moment, but then actually raise their game against better sides. So their best game at Euro 2020 was probably the one they actually went out in against Italy when it went to penalties, but Spain were really the better team. So that's going to be interesting when they do play a big side, but of course they've got a big side next in Germany, in a game that could knock the Germans out. I must say, I disagree with that. Lord Polycarp and Spain would beat them easily. I think Brazil, they've got, I mean, with the pattern of that Serbia game, the onus was on Brazil to attack. So we didn't need to get a sense of how solid they can be, but Serbia really didn't get close to them. They've got so much physicality in defence. And I think if Spain and Brazil were to meet, most of all, it'd be really interesting clash of styles. For me, I mean, I suppose a lot of English fans won't want to hear it, but for me, it will almost be football-wise a perfect final. And Ithisham asks, "Who's our favourite team for Qatar 2022?" I mean, I've hopped around. I suppose I went from Argentina, who then had a massive reality check and really looked unconvincing, to Spain. I have to say, I'd probably edge Brazil. I was actually really impressed with the way they went about their job against Serbia, because that was quite a difficult game against a really low Serbian bloc. It took a lot of graft to get through it, but they showed their kind of imagination, their intricacy in opening Serbia. And then once they were ahead, they really started to express themselves. I mean, that Richarlison goal was basically, it was the first real moment. I mean, when we think of Brazil, I suppose what kind of sparks the imagination is all these great moments from history. Pele's dummy, Josimar's swerve, the '82 team, Rivaldo hitting it from distance, and it's really been a long time since we had a real proper moment of Brazil magic in that sense. But that's what Richarlison's goal was, and it did kind of only emphasise that they have a team that can work really hard with solid industry and then some real class. And there is this kind of growing argument that actually they could be a better team without Neymar, but let's see how that pans out. I mean, I suppose more interestingly, they've got so much talent. I mean, it was almost like they brought another forward on last night that any other team in the tournament would love to have. Well, thank you for all your questions. You can keep up to date with all the news from Qatar 2022 with Independent Sport and watch more on Independent TV. We'll see you again soon on You Ask the Questions.